laser. That's what it says here on the box. We're going to take this out of the box, put it together, see how it performs. And right up front, I'll tell you that Mecpow provided this to me to demonstrate, and by golly, that's what we're going to do. And again, my reviews and everything are completely unbiased. So if there's something that's kind of wonky about this or don't like, I'll let you know about it. I'll also let you know how well it performs, and you'll be able to see live, because this is not scripted or anything. It's whatever happens, happens. And I have not opened this yet. So we're going to get into that, unbox this, find out what's in here. Obviously it's going to take some assembly because it's in a little box. This box is kind of hefty here. So get this thing open, see what we got. Well, the box got a little ding in it over here. Hopefully this is well packed, because it looks like it got dropped somewhere. And it looks like it is well packed. So some foam here. We have a user manual. And the print is not as fine as I thought it was going to be. This is in multiple languages. So this should be fairly straightforward. I put a lot of lasers together, so this should be no problem. So we'll take out the laser head here. And wattage, we have output 10 watts. It's a 10 watt output laser. We have some little bags of, not real sure what's going on there, little rubber things. I have to see what that is. Then we have hardware. And we have some safety glasses that are green. Ideally they should be orange, but this is absolutely better than nothing. I'm assuming this is the focus card for putting between the laser head and your work. It's a piece of acrylic, has paper on the sides you can peel off. We have a power supply, USB cable, power cord. This here would be the X gantry, and it is pre-wired to the controller, which I assume mounts on the front. We have some 2020 extrusions here, which is this here would be the Y-axis, I assume, and the shorter ones down here would be on the X. And they're wrapped in plastic, and there is a little screwdriver in there, little fill 'em ups. I'm thinking that's probably packing, although it's you could cut that. It's a piece of 1/8" MDF. Could play with that. We have some legs in here. 3 of them, so that means that the motherboard there will be the other leg. And a little piece of aluminum here, or stainless, one of the two. And there's another piece of MDF, 1/8" MDF. And that's everything, which is foam. Now we have a little box in here with some more stuff in it. User manual for air assist pump. So you get a little air assist pump in here. And tubing. Little wall wart power supply for it. And the air pump. So, see about getting this put together. Here I've got everything unwrapped here, and so right off, my assembly videos are very, very detailed. And some people don't like that. So, well, everybody knows that. Well, everybody doesn't know that. That's why I do this in detail. some people are not as mechanical as others, and this will help them out, or perhaps they don't quite understand the instruction book. So this does come with some alien wrenches in here in the little toolkit, and I will be using drivers like this because they're handier. You don't have to have these. The tools that come with it are perfectly capable of assembling this. One of your little bags of parts is labeled spare parts, so you got some spare screws in there, and they do that in case you happen to get one that has a bad thread, or you drop it and it rolls underneath the couch or something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do here is get all my hardware out and get it laid into something. When you're unpacking your package, don't overlook the timing belts, because I didn't see them in there till I got to looking at this, wondering how the belts work. Got to looking in the packing, and it is kind of concealed in there. They're kind of pushed down in the foam, so don't miss those. You're going to need them. Okay, right off I can see where somebody's going to be confused here. The very first step here in their assembly guide is to put the basic frame together. So the one here you see with the numbers on it, the shorter one, this is your x-axis. This is the front. So this one will be right here in front of you. Now on the y-axis, this is the one with the numbers, and you'll see it has a little limit switch on the bottom. Be careful of this so you don't break it while you're putting this together. So the 0 here on this will go next to the 0 on the x-axis. So this will be your lower left corner. And you'll need one of these longer screws like this. It'll come through the outside. And this is a Phillips, by the way. And then that will screw. There's a hole in the end of the extrusion there that just screws in. Now on the other side of the y-axis, and if you're not familiar with X and Y, X is left to right, Y is forward and back. This one here has no markings on it. You'll want to put it together so that the smooth side is out. Don't do it this way, or things aren't going to work out. You'll have a hard time getting that screw in, etc. Again, it's one of these here longer screws. And you want to run these in kind of snug, but don't tighten them all the way up yet. Wait till we get to the point where you're putting the legs on so we can make sure everything is square. The next thing you want to do is put the X-axis rail on. And you want to do that with your numbers still facing up here. And as you look at this, you'll see it has this is called a stepper motor on the back. You have a stepper motor over here. This will go to your left. The side without the stepper motor will go to your right. And to put this on, you see you have rollers here. This will slip. I'm going to just use this as an example. This will slip with this part right side up. The extrusion will slip through like so. Again, this isn't the one it goes on. I'm just using it for an example. So you see how the rollers ride on that. There'll be 2 above and 1 below. And you'll put that on from the back and just roll it on. So it'll be just like that. Something else I should point out as you are moving things around and doing things on your control panel here that goes in the front, there's a small switch on the back and a flame sensor. Be careful you don't bang that and break that off. That's to turn the flame sensor on and off. And we'll get into the reasons for that here in a little bit. Okay, so your next step will be to put the rear extrusion on. And there again, you want the flat side to the outside. So the flat side will go towards the back. using these same screws as you used on the front. Okay, moving on to the front here. You have a single leg like this. That'll go right here. Again, the short screw with the washer there goes right into the end of the extrusion. Again, I'm going to give my extrusion just a little bit of a twist to make sure everything is good and square. I know I'll be loosening this screw here. You'll be doing that on both ends as we adjust the belts. We'll get to another step here. Okay, now on your controller over here, make sure that the cable is coming up over the top and not underneath. You need one of the, what I'm going to call the medium length screw. It's a hole tapped in the extrusion where this goes through and into that hole. And then you'll have the same thing here on this corner with the shorter screw and the... Okay, so before you put this screw in over here, all the way, make sure that you are wrapped all the way around the corner or that bracket will not go around the corner. So it has to fit in that recess for the extrusion screw. Like so. Then you can tighten this one down. And then of course you got the shorter screw with the washer that you would put into the very end of the extrusion. I know it's not a camera view, but it does fit there. And then don't forget to tighten up your corner screw. Make sure your extrusion is all square and flush there. Hey, while we're on this corner, I'll turn this around so you can see. This here is for your limit switch. It's a little wire, and you have a wire here that's going to meet up with it. Now this is keyed, so it only goes together one way. So there's a raised portion on the limit switch and a opening there. That just lines up and plugs in. Don't force anything, or if you bend them pins, they're hard to straighten out. Should go together and snap just like that. Make sure this isn't wrapped around your limit switch. Keep it kind of back out of the way. Okay, we're going to get to the belts. And there'll be two belts here. And if you are in a place where it's cold, like I am, they're going to want to do that and curl up. But we'll work around that. If you're someplace where you can get them warm, kind of stretch them out and straighten them out. It'll make things a little bit easier. Okay, this is a place where a lot of people have trouble understanding things here. So you'll see that there is a small slot right above where that screw and washer is. So what you're going to want to do here now is loosen that back up, my curly belt. Back it out a ways so that you'll be able to get the belt past it. Now the belt has teeth on one side. You're going to want the teeth pointing down, and you're going to want to slip the end of this through that little slot. And as it passes through there, just get it to come up past the washer. And come out a few teeth. Now this is on the back. We're going to do the belt adjustments from the front. And then as you tighten that screw back down, that washer will pinch this belt and it'll hold it in there firm. Now I'll do the same thing on the other side over here. Just back that out a few turns. Again, boy, this is curled up good here. When you're putting that in there through the slot that I can't see, Then take a little something and pop it up so it comes in above the washer. You don't need to go out very far. We'll be doing the adjustments from the front. You can make sure the teeth are pointed down. And that'll lock the belt in there. Now we're going to get to the part here that just seems to confuse a whole lot of people. So, you've got a wheel here, you have a sprocket, you have another wheel. With the teeth pointing down and without getting any twists in it, or curls like that, just make sure the thing's straightened back out. You need to go under this wheel, over this sprocket, and back under the other wheel. Sounds easy, doesn't it? So we need to go under the wheel, over the sprocket, pull this through and make sure I have no twists in it. Then I need to go under the other wheel. So that when you're done, it will look like that. Now on the front, you want to loosen that screw up where that little slot is, just like we did on the back. And with your teeth still pointing down, you want to pass that through that slot. So when you're done, it'll look like that. And I'm not going to tighten that back up yet because we're going to set belt tension here in a minute. But first I need to do my belt on the other side. So again, it's the same procedure, making sure that there's no twists, the teeth are pointed down. I'll go under this belt. Sometimes it helps put a little curl in the end of it if you can, so that when you're going underneath that roller, it will easily pop back up. And you'll be able to get a hold of it. It's always nice to have some kind of little tool you can use as a kind of a probe or something to kind of help things along. Then we go over the sprocket and under the next wheel. I know I probably got my hands in the way so you can't see, but you let just like that. We'll loosen the screw back up, several turns. Making sure there's no twists in the belt. Pass that through there, like so. Now we're going to set belt tension. Okay, I also like to make sure that my gantry is square. So I am going to roll this to the back slowly. Make sure your belts don't come out of there until it's all the way back on both sides. Now, how tight is tight? That's subjective. You want to pull this, don't use any tools, just pull this, I would say tight. Just, you're not stringing a guitar. You just want it snug. Then lift it up like this and then tighten that screw back up. This is with the gantry all the way at the back. This way you can assure everything is square. And do the same thing on the other side. So we have our belts tight and adjusted. Don't cut these off yet. And this should roll, don't roll this fast. This should roll smoothly on here with no bumps or drags or anything else. Never move these rapidly when the stepper motors are plugged in. A stepper motor is a DC motor. It runs on DC voltage. When you push this, you're making that motor turn, and as you do so, it also generates electricity. So you don't want to be sending a big DC spike to your controller. So make sure everything lines up and moves smoothly. Okay, the next thing you want to look at are what are called eccentric nuts. So if you look down in here, there's a little nut in there. And these are set pretty well. You don't want to have a lot of play there. If you have play, then those nuts will need to be adjusted. I'm going to show you what I mean because I have some play on my gantry right here. So I need to tighten that eccentric nut up a little bit. They do not give you a wrench, but as I recall, that's an 8mm in there. Close to power up, so you got your power adapter here with a cord. It needs to be plugged into the end of the power adapter. And this end, of course, I'm in the United States, so 120 volt. And by the way, this is a 12 volt power supply. If you have other lasers that run at 24 volt, like a lot of mine do, don't just think you can use the same power supply for all of them, even though the ends are the same because of that different voltage. You could mess that up. We'll plug this in. Get that out of the way. This also has a key switch in the front that you can put this little key into here, and you can lock it or unlock it. Oh, it's nice you can take that key out. That way, if I don't have kids to worry about in here, so I can turn this on, leave it on, take out the key, and not worry about it getting broke off or something. Some of the lasers that come with this key feature, when that's on, you can't take the key back out. And then you have your USB cable here. That is rather short, but it'll work for here. This just plugs into the top. There's a spot there for a micro SD card that this does not come with one, but you can put one in there. Now I need to get my laptop. Okay, the program I'm using here is called Lightburn, and I suggest that you, well, you're going to have to go to their website to download it because I didn't see a SD card that came with this anywhere. There wasn't one in the laser. Go to lightburn.com, download the latest version. You can also play with Laser GRBL if you wish. That's not one of my favorite softwares, so I will show how to do that here, but that's not the software I generally use. Well, we're going to start out with Lightburn. So I got Lightburn open here. I'm going to turn on my laser. Make sure the emergency stop is not tripped. One quiet laser. I had to get up close to even hear if it was running or not. So we want to find this laser. I have the USB plugged into my computer. So go here to devices and then go over here where it says find my laser. And then click next. And it'll come up right there. There it is. So then we'll go to add device. And this is a 410mm by 410mm stated work area. I say stated, and I'll show you why here when we get going. If you're working in inches, it's 16.14. Now you got to, if you only have one laser, you can leave it saying Gerbil if you want, but I have a lot of lasers, so I need to name this Mecpow. And I'm going to put 10 watt there just so I remember how many watts that is. Then I'll click next, and it will auto home on startup. We want it to home to the front left. Click next. We'll click finish. So I'm okay there. I'll go over here. It automatically came up on COM7. So now I need to scroll down here to my Mecpow 10 watt. I can go up here to the console. It's auto homing, just like it's supposed to. Hey, it did everything absolutely perfect. I know you couldn't see that because I don't have the other camera on, but it did come home like it's supposed to. It did have an alarm here because I was switching from a different laser, so you won't get that. Okay, now I'll show you how to get this set up in Laser Gerbil. Laser Gerbil is over here somewhere. There it is. Okay, if you have Laser Gerbil, you will need to install a driver. So if you go up here to Tools, you'll say Install CH340 Driver, and I'm not going to do it again because I've already got it in here. And then you just click on Install and it'll be done. So now that that driver is installed, and you may need to do that with Lightburn too. Like I say, if you don't have a CH340 driver, and if you don't have a 3D printer or laser or anything, you probably won't have that. You'll need to add it. So to connect, you just go up here to this little thing that says connect, and we are connected. And I'm not going to go through how to use this software. Like I said, I don't like it, but it does work. If your laser wasn't home, you want to send it home, you click on this little icon right here, and it'll home it, which it just did again. Then to disconnect, click disconnect there, and you're done. Okay, once we have everything set up, I have a honeycomb board underneath here right now because I don't want to scar up my saw table here in case something goes amiss. You're going to want to set your focus. So I've got a piece of material, just a little piece of 1/8" plywood we're going to play with here. You have this focus card. You want to take that focus card, slip it underneath the laser head, loosen the thumb screw, let that drop down to where it sits right on the focus card. Here we go. I have my air hose a little tight. Tighten your thumb screw back down, and you can remove that card, and then you can send the laser back home. So there we have the laser back home. By the way, do not lose this card. You're going to need that to focus. Okay, a little something else you're going to want to do here in Lightburn is go up here to Edit and go down here where it says Device Settings. And this window will come up. You want to enable the laser fire button and then laser on when framing. And I'll show you why that is. And after you do that, just click OK. Yeah, I have this actually doing a little test engrave right now, but it's just almost done. Then you want to go to the Move tab. Let this finish. Okay, where it says Move here. That way you'll have a laser fire button and you can fire that to check to see where your location is. I set mine at 2% power. And the laser beam is on very, very dim, and it'll show that everything is on there. And I can just hit start. There's a little test engrave. See there, it came out just fine. And we'll do something to check the precision of this here in a minute, but I'll do another little check here. We'll cut something out. Okay, now I have the air assist on since I'm going to be doing some cutting here. It's also good to have it on when you're engraving wood. It'll reduce any scorching. So we'll hit start here. I'm just cutting out a little bird. So what am I set at? 400 millimeters per minute, 80% power. This is on 1/8" plywood. Make absolutely sure you have something underneath your laser. Honeycomb board is best, but at the very minimum, use that little metal sheet they sent so that you don't burn a hole in your dining room table. So there's our little bird. I actually cut that on the other side of what I just engraved, but here's kind of a little example for you there on cutting. Okay, I've got a little geometric grid I'm going to put on here. 1/8" plywood again. This time it's 4,000 millimeters per minute at 40% power. And we'll get that started. Here's our little grid. Now, just for fun, without moving that, I'm going to draw another circle around that and cut it out. Just a little hint for the new users if you've never done this before and you decide, oh, I want to change something, and as long as you do not move that project and you're working from absolute coordinates. For example, here I just drew a circle around what my graphic already was and set it to do a cut. So now when this comes out, it'll cut right around my graphic. This again is 400 millimeters per minute at 90% power for this cut and this 1/8 inch plywood. Air assist is on. So there we are. And in looking at the precision of the lines, it's very, very precise. I don't see any wobbling or anything anywhere. I don't see anything jagged or crooked. And it did cut a perfect circle. So there it is, the Mecpow 10-watt laser engraver cutter. Honeycomb board does not come with that. That's something I already had. But as I said, I wanted to protect my saw table here in case there was any kind of boo-boos or anything. I will be making a baseboard for this and a layout grid, which will be the subject of another video, and I'll do some further testing with this. As I said, you saw me take it out of the box. This is real time. This is assembly and putting it together and checking it out just a little bit, a couple basic tests. So again, Mecpow did provide this to me to test and demonstrate, assemble. Done this so far. I'll put it through its paces here in the coming weeks. There'll be more videos on this one. You can just watch for that. What do I think of it so far? It is literally an entry-level laser. It's something you can start out without having to break the bank if you have a limited budget. I don't see anything really wrong that I really dislike about it, other than I think the air assist hose is a little stiff, but it's cold in here too, so it's a little hard to get things moving real good when they're cold, like me. I don't move too well when I'm cold either. So there'll be a link in the description on where you can get a hold of one of these. Amazon, of course. And as I said, there'll be more videos coming up on this in the future. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up, always helps the channel. And be sure to check out our beginner laser project playlist. I'll put a link up here, around here somewhere. So thanks for watching. I'm Roger in the shop. We'll see you on the next one.